Maximum alert from the Potter Blog sites. The United States government released a federal solicitation today that shows that they are actively preparing to activate the emergency alert system to notify the nation of an avian influenza national emergency. And we will show you those solicitation documents in a moment. But given the totality of the stuff in these recent solicitations of the federal government and just the massive amount of money they're spending, the only thing that makes sense in regards to this is that, and as we stated here on Twitter in our recent tweet, and it's a creepy coincidence, this is our 666th tweet. It says, "We suspect a human-to-human airborne H7N9 variant has been detected by the United States government. Makes no fiscal sense otherwise." Now, quickly to our website, and here on our website we have links to these documents, so you may look them up, pull them up, and examine them for yourself. But these are multiple documents, multiple instances of things happening here that are related to this, and we'll just read it to you real quick. The U.S. government released a solicitation that states it will use the Presidential Alert System, EAS, for a pandemic flu emergency televised broadcast, a live broadcast. In a related development, 2 days ago, the FCC put out notice seeking immediate broadcaster comments on the first and only test run of the emergency alert system which they ever did. The National Emergency Alert System which they ever did took place in 2011. Very interesting. 2 days ago, they were asking for broadcaster comments to make sure the emergency alerts go out, and then today they release a contract stating that they're going to make emergency alerts for this pandemic flu. And another uncanny uncoincidence, the same division of the United States government, Department of Health and Human Services, also released a solicitation to purchase Sprout social media to help them tweet to the public. Simultaneously, Twitter announced it is activating its emergency alert system to allow government organizations to tweet messages in a time of emergency. Now, here's one key takeaway for this. That is that the Presidential Emergency Action Notice will look something like this image here. And its primary initial purpose will be to delay public panic. They released this immediately, or initially, to delay public panic. As such, this emergency action notice will signal the last fleeting time period where additional safety measures may be taken while the public attempts to make sense of the H7N9 pandemic flu emergency broadcast. So, when this comes out, I mean, this is your sign to take immediate action. Get to your family, get across any bridges that separate you, any choke points. If you're safe, get gas. This is just your last fleeting chance to take any last minute preparations before the streets become clogged and before they lock down streets. Now here are the links referenced in the analysis, and here's all the original work we've done on this, and unfortunately some of this work has been stolen by quote-unquote threat journaling type sites. You know who you are. Bad thing about that is they pass this off as their own work, and so the rest of the information on their sites can't be trusted. But if you just look at what's going on here in these recent contracts, $57 million awarded to Cellfire for thrombozones to help fight hemorrhagic bleeding. This is some incredible stuff. FEMA has a 48-hour delivery notice out for 100,000 doctor scrubs, 1,000 100-person medical hoteling centers, fuel showers, bathrooms. This is just for the medical personnel to be able to treat things. A lot of this stuff is aimed at the Pacific region. I guess they expect this human-to-human spread to come out of the Pacific, probably from high net value Chinese fleeing via airlines. But let's go look at the documentation real quick here. This is the Fed Biz Ops that first alerted us that something was going on. This is really high-end maintenance software for television production. And if you go through this, they don't really tell you what it's for, but there is a link at the very bottom to the statement of the work. Click on the statement of work link here, and what you will come to is this Word document. Television studio equipment purchase. Really what they're purchasing is maintenance and service But let's look at this real quick. It says that the need to inform the public is further emphasized with the risk of pandemic flu. The television broadcast facility will play a vital role in keeping the public informed on the government's health response and steps people can take as individuals to deal with the flu during a major outbreak. Additionally, the television studio will serve as a valuable tool for disseminating information to state and local health emergency centers to provide additional information to assist them in planning for and responding to a flu emergency. This TV studio is a network-quality television broadcast facility capable of sustaining emergency television broadcasts to provide vital health and life safety information. Again, we link to this on our webpage. Now, in conjunction with this, 2 days ago, the Federal Communications Commission released this public notice. And let me zoom in or make this a little bit bigger here, see if we can read it. It says, Public Safety and Homeland Security Bureau seeks comment regarding equipment and operational issues identified following the first nationwide test of the emergency alert system in 2011. First nationwide test of the presidential action notification was done in 2011, and now they're seeking immediate broadcaster comments to let them know what problems they had. It's pretty obvious what this is for and why it's in conjunction with the CDC's Department of Health and Human Services request and capability there to fund live televised broadcasts for over the emergency broadcasting system, or emergency alert system as it's called now, about an avian influenza situation. Now, along with that, if we look here, there is another purchase order out today for a Sprout social media management system. Now again, doesn't really tell you what it's for in the purchase order here, but if you scroll down to the bottom, where is it, and you open up the PDF, well, what you end up getting is this. And we'll scroll down through here and we read through this, and you can find the link that leads to this link on our webpage. It says Sprout's most social media features a smart inbox, quickly respond to different social media accounts, aggregation searches determine the best time to tweet based on its keyword search. Up here, the social media channel Twitter is used extensively at HSS, with the secretary launching her own Twitter account this fiscal year. Sprout Social provides unique capabilities to HSS because its Twitter comparison tool enables staff to compare with Twitter. Basically, this is a capability then to tweet quickly and effectively to Twitter. Now, along with that notice today, Twitter announces that it's launching its own emergency alert system. Twitter has launched a new emergency alert system that lets authorized agencies and other aid workers send messages in times of emergency. Things are all working in conjunction here. The only way any of these expenditures and this desire for the federal government to have live broadcast capability on the emergency alert system following a presidential emergency action notification is if they have found a human-to-human airborne transmissible variant of H7N9. That's the only reason why any of this would make any real physical sense. Nothing else makes physical sense. Hence, our maximum alert. Welcome to the Potter Blog site, September 17, 2013. Mobilization of the National Disaster Medical System. That's what's indicated by a large series of FEMA requests and contracts released today and in recent days. We discussed this in detail on our website. We've also been covering this on Twitter. We get out faster information on Twitter. But here's the details, or here's one of the key things that's giving this away. And that is something as innocuous as clothing commodities. A request from FEMA for clothing commodities. Now let's look at this in just a little bit of detail, exactly what they're asking for here. Now notice this. Contractors must demonstrate capacity to deliver at least 50,000 items within 48 hours. Contractors with higher capacity may receive greater consideration. So what kind of clothing of that magnitude could FEMA need within 48 hours? Well, let's look at details, what they have in here. Doctor's scrubs, tops and pants, 90% adult, 10% child. Looks like they're going to order up to 100,000. They also want winter clothing, sweatpants and sweatshirts, medium weight, long sleeve. Very strange to need 100,000 scrubs and 100,000 sweatshirts and pants, 48 hours notice. Why? Well, let's go look back at the solicitations here, and we will show you why and what's going on here. There's a whole host of these. In essence, what they're doing here is they are setting up 1,000 shelters, each shelter capable of holding 100 people. 1,000 times 100, 100,000. These are facilities for medical personnel. They're going to set up basically 1,000 shelters across the United States to treat medical conditions, and they are pre-prepping these with 100,000 doctor scrubs, 100,000 sweatpants. Now, if we look at the rest of these solicitations in support of these facilities, fuel and propane for these FEMA shelters, insulated food transporters. They're going to be serving hot food. Portable facilities, mobile showers and bathrooms. These are luxury facilities. This is a luxury camp they're setting up. 2,000 shower heads capability across the entire system is what they're looking to set up. Again, the hot food, beverage commodities, bottled water. Now, if we look at the list here, I think they're ordering, let's see exactly what we said. They're ordering 8,100,000 liters of bottled drinking water and 3 million liters of extended shelf life drinking water. They want 1,000 shelters, each holding 100 people, mobile showers, enough fuel, hot food delivery containers, sundries, protective equipment, hygiene equipment into supply, 6 million autoclavable cotton blankets and so forth. All must be available under surge tempo. Again, typically 48 hours notice. So let's again look at the rest of these. These are the food containers, beverage containers, bottled water. There's also an order here for tarps, may or may not be associated. The 6 million blankets, shelter support kits, bulk hygiene. They're talking shower caps, feminine products, all sorts of stuff. Miscellaneous supplies, and there's a lot more here, so let's see. Cleaning supplies for these shelters, protective gear order, and they're also prepping the transportation carriers to be able to deliver this on surge. At least that's their plan. This has a cluster mess written all over it. This is a logistical nightmare. If they're really going to activate this, they're going to have to activate this before public gets panicked about H7N9. Because if H7N9, if a pandemic that's dropping people like flies is going on, and they're planning to put this on 48 hours delivery notice with an ongoing pandemic, yeah, you can expect transportation to grind to a halt across the country. They have just set up their first NDMS capabilities course, where they did a trial run, small scale trial run, where they brought in 10 people from 10 disaster medical assistance teams from 10 different states to attend the pilot fundamental course, sort of a dry run. There's a video out here available on YouTube. We'll have a link for that. But the overall assessment of this thing, and it's just a crazy amount of solicitations in support of this. If we look at this again in detail, here's some notable comments from the contractors. Let me show you exactly from the documents so you can see for yourself. Here's a contract. This is from one of the leading contractors for mobile showers and restrooms. Give you a quick comment. In short, I think the Armageddon scenario is too large to provide the Federal Emergency Management Agency with responsible parties. And here's an interesting thing here, a little giveaway, is they're asking, since it's so large, could my company just bid on the 20 camps in California, and the 5 in Oregon and the 5 in Washington? So they're trying to get just part of the deal here. But let's see what they say. It says, I have questions regarding the solicitation, specifically in reference to the scenario. I've been in the mobile facilities business for over 10 years, and I do not know of anyone, nor even a combination of the largest 3 companies in the country, that could supply 2,000 plus shower heads, let alone the portable restrooms, accessible restrooms, etc., required for the scenario in a 48-hour period. My company has one of the largest fleets in the country of shower trailers. We have over 50 of them, but our total shower head count is roughly 800. And again, this says, I think this Armageddon scenario is too large. FEMA's response is, we understand it's too big for one group of people, but we'll get it out to a larger group of people. This is why this thing's got cluster mess written over it. It also shows that they're in panic that they would even just put this out for, that they don't understand this. Weird. Very weird. Now here's this is the bottled drinking water, the 8 million liters. An example of some of the supplies and the kits that they're going to supply these FEMA, we call them medical hotels with. Let's see what else we have here. Here they mention the number of shelters, 1,000 shelters. And here's an interesting one from the blanket supplier. This is for the people looking to build the 6 million autoclavable blankets. Said, would we be able to get a longer lead time for the initial order than 30 days for the remainder of the contract, as the blankets will be manufactured in Pakistan? It's hard to carry 100,000 pieces in inventory. We on a general basis stock no more than 25 to 35,000 pieces in inventory locally in Georgia. So what's FEMA's response to that? No. Something crazy is going on here. This is, as one of the contractors pointed out, this is like an Armageddon scenario. And here on the Potterblog site, we've put links to all these solicitations if you want to do the analysis yourself. But, the threat that's being prepared for appears to be coming out of the Pacific Rim. There's a contract out, and we discussed this in an earlier video, air freight cargo transportation with the Pacific. It's very unusual in such that it is a surge tempo contract, means multiple locations, multiple deliveries, and they're looking to deliver federal medical centers, portable federal medical system centers, and national surge stockpile quantities of medical supplies. We discussed that in detail in an earlier video. But if you look through this, and the contractor comments, these government solicitations of all the earmarks of being of a massive logistical incompetence cluster mess. Now, if you read through these, it appears that the threats coming out of the Pacific Rim, a likely scenario is the human spread of avian bird flu H7N9 out of China. A lot of Chinese people visit Hawaii, islands in the Pacific Rim. If there's an indication of a pandemic in China that's getting out of hand, the higher wealth Chinese will take their vacations and flee. So it looks like they're looking at a human-to-human spread of H7N9 bird flu. Now that said, we think it's less likely, but we can't rule out that this is a Fukushima preparation, because, and here's the reason why we think it's less likely. It's because nuclear threats are invisible and usually deniable. Now here's the most important key thing about this mobilization. Any such mobilization must be less panic-inducing than the threat which it seeks to quell. That screams pandemic to us. And for that reason, CDC's got this nice little flyer out now. They're asking people to promote it on Twitter and other places. Keep calm and be prepared.
Check this one out. This is usually when it starts getting worse, even worse. Last time they did this, they put live vaccines in the vaccine, and then you got what we got now, all across the country. And it started in the area where they airdropped vaccines. But you just have to spend a little bit of time doing some research. You'll figure it all out. Just look towards New Mexico and Texas. And when it really started kicking in is when it had the Los Alamos fires. It says Houston skunks are a high-risk species for spreading rabies. So state officials are dropping vaccine baits in Rio areas of Fort Bend and Waller counties. Watch, you'll see an increase in rabies there. But that won't be until next year, probably. It already is next year. Holy crap, these animals are about to go to sleep. When they come out, it's going to double, just like take off again. So what it stops at, it's going to pick up. And then it's going to just, I think next time it'll just trip. We're not going to have a good next 12 months. I'm telling you, from starting from this date for the next 12 months, you're going to see it getting bad. Just put it that way. So there's a special bait that is coated with fish meal. Remember I put that video that one guy did from experimental vaccines talking about the fish meal, and they put a live virus in it. They're not telling you that. It says it's a special bait that is coated with fish meal, and authorities said it is safe in 60 species of animals, including household pets. So, and then that's what the experimental vaccine was talking about, is it's okay for them to eat one, but what if, since they're covered in this yummy fish meal, what if they eat 3 or 4 or 5 of them? And these things have live viruses in them. Go check them out. Airdrop vaccines. Now you'll find out there's a live virus in it. It says if people come in contact with the bait, if they see it on the driveway from a distance, and their pet has brought one, or their pet has brought one in the yard, we make them, and they use a plastic bag, paper towel, or gloves to pick. See, it's because there's live virus in it. That's why they don't want you to touch it, because you'll get infected. And they're just going to drop this. Look, if you see it at the end of the road, don't go near it. See what I mean? It's just how dangerous this stuff is. And we're just going to throw, 100,000 pieces of bait out over here. But I told you that it was going to come to this. But if you're in Texas, it's something you want to start looking into. I'm telling you, like a couple weeks ago, it was 177 cases they confirmed? That's a lot of rabies for just 2013. That's a lot. It's unheard of amounts.
What we do know is that the aircraft touched down.
Yeah, are these the roots?
What is it?
Statue of Liberty or snowman?
Blackout and declared martial law.
Daddy, what's martial law?
coming.
They're coming. Ready? Is this thing worldwide? Is anyone doing better than we are?
We've lost the East Coast. Moscow is still dark. Life as we know it will come to an end in 90 days. It's on us to change that.
I can't leave my family.
Don't pretend your family is exempt when we talk about the end of humanity.
I don't want to leave you. I have to go.
I'll keep our kids safe.
There's a memo sent from this installation.
Pretty obvious nobody back home bothered to read it.
If I could get into Russia, where would I start?
Russia's a black hole.
I need answers.
Guns are half measure.
You're with the CIA?
But they're not with me.
Karen.
Is there anything left out there?
If we knew where this thing started, then maybe we could kill it.
I think these things have a weakness.
Every human being we save is one less to fight.
What we do know is that the aircraft touched down.
Yeah, are these the routes?
What is it?
Statue of Liberty or snowman.
Blackout and declared martial law.
Daddy, what's martial law? I'm scared.
How do we know they're coming?
They're coming. Ready? Is this thing worldwide? Is anyone doing better than we are?
We've lost the East Coast. Moscow is still dark. Life as we know it will come to an end in 90 days. It's on us to change that.
I can't leave my family.
Don't pretend your family is exempt when we talk about the end of humanity.
I don't want to leave you. I have to go.
I'll keep our kids safe.
There's a memo sent from this installation.
Pretty obvious nobody back home bothered to read it.
If I could get into Russia, where would I start?
Russia's a black hole.
I need answers.
Guns are half measure.
You're with the CIA?
But they're not with me.
Karen.
Is there anything left out there?
If we knew where this thing started, then maybe we could kill it.
I think these things have a weakness.
Every human being we save is one less to fight.
These are the Jerusalem Salvation Gates. 2 of 10 portals to the security perimeter into fortified Israel. You're letting people in.
Every human being we save is one less only to fight.
It's too loud.
Coming over the top!
Check this out. This is kind of interesting. I'll show you a couple parts in it, but it says according to the IDF, it's Israeli Defense Force, a soldier is identified yet to be determined dropped off a wounded black puppy on 28th of August 2013 in a veterinary clinic in Golan Heights town of Catherine, then returned to the army base in the area. The puppy was later found to have contracted rabies. Following the diagnosis, the health minister immediately notified the IDF, requesting that the army track down a soldier who authorities believe may be in need of critical treatment. Once the rabies virus penetrates the subject's body, he or she must be vaccinated as soon as possible before the virus can cars going by. Make its way to the nervous system. If the subject is not vaccinated in time, symptoms will begin to develop, ultimately leading to the subject's death, as there are currently no effective treatment for the disease once it is spread. As of Monday, September 9th, authorities said the soldier had yet to be located. In 1996, the IDF soldier died of rabies after he was bitten in his sleep by an infected wild animal. Says the health ministry urged anyone who may have contact with the puppy to seek medical assistance as soon as possible. Let's see. Watch when it comes down to here. It says the Israeli Health Minister of Health is engaged in rigorous efforts to locate the soldier who may have been exposed to the puppy at the beginning of its clinical rabies phase. Reportedly, the animal died on September 7th, about 10 days after its last contact with a person. The whole event took place on Golan Heights in northeast Israel, bordering Lebanon, Syria, and northwest Jordan, a region witnessing an exacerbating in canine rabies during the recent 4 years.
Hey guys, Duncan from looserounds.com. I wanted to do a real quick video today on the new kind of grips that have been coming out lately. I know Sean just did an article on the new Bravo Company grip that has a more straight down angle to the grip. I've been running this Umbrella Corporation grip for a little while, and I'm going to do a review on it very soon. But what I wanted to talk about is how nice they are and a couple of things that they do for you real quickly. One is the angle is more straight up and down. What that does is it makes sure that you don't have that funny little cant in your wrist that you have with more traditional angled grips on your AR-15. What that allows you to do is get the rifle closer into your body, and it actually allows you to hold the rifle more secure because you're not using all of your wrist to keep the rifle up. You're using more of your gross motor muscles in your arm to keep the rifle up. It allows you to hold the rifle for a longer period of time. It also allows you during magazine exchanges to really get your finger up closer and more on the magazine release. So it allows you to hold the rifle very securely, even one-handed, while you're doing a magazine exchange. Or maybe you're searching a building, you need to grab something, open something, push something off, move your rifle in either direction. I really think my law enforcement friends out there will really like this, especially if you're wearing body armor or a lot more gear, a vest. Sometimes you're gonna have to suck that butt stock in a little bit. This allows you to make sure that you're not really kinking that wrist. Allows you to get the rifle closer into your body, and you're able to secure it and hold it for longer periods of time. Really think that's one really good advantage. Other advantage are a little easier trigger control. I'll talk about that in my article a little later on, but I just wanted to give you a real quick overview. Have fun, stay safe out there. I've been running this Umbrella Corporation grip for a little while.
The same facial filler dermatologists inject in a serum you use at home. Avon introduces a new clinical Dermafol, a breakthrough answer to expensive injections. The first topical serum with the same injectable-grade facial filler used to restore the look of youthful fullness and contours. A new Dermafol, only from Avon. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Call your Avon representative for a new Dermafol and say hello tomorrow.
Imagine a world where you can reverse the effects of age, stress, and sun. From the leading name in biotechnology comes Regenerate. Another breakthrough from the Umbrella Corporation. Regenerate's revolutionary T-cell formula actually brings dead cells back to life. Now, your youthful beauty can last forever. Always consult your doctor before starting treatment. Some side effects may occur. Regenerate is a registered trademark of the Umbrella Corporation. Our business is life itself.
Cream is the only way to firm skin? Challenge the need for such heavy measures with Olay. New Regenerist Microsculpting Serum for firmer skin in 5 days.
Pretty heavy lifting for such a lightweight.
Olay Regenerist.
I'm just going to kind of read. This post picks up where my last post left off, and I was talking about the devil at the center of Rockefeller Plaza. I trust you know this quote. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. A score is 20, so the number of the beast is 666, and we all have seen that and come to that conclusion. It's common knowledge. Right across the street from Rockefeller Center in New York is 666 Fifth Avenue. It's an address. 666 Fifth Avenue was built by the Tishman family in 1957. There's a sculpture in the lobby called Landscape of the Cloud. In 1989, Ronald and Nancy Reagan retired to 666 St. Cloud Road in the Bel Air district of Los Angeles. Nancy had the street number changed to 666. Reagan has 6 letters, each of 3 names, making 666. 666 Fifth Avenue used to have 3 sixes displayed at the top of the building, and its penthouse was occupied by the top of the Sixes restaurant, long gone now. Today the building has the Citigroup logo on its top.
In the Hebrew, in the Old Testament, we find a similar term called the Rephaim, sometimes translated giants in your English, sometimes translated dead. You might appropriately call them, if you look at all the verses and put it together, the living dead, strange creatures. Why did God tell Joshua to wipe out every man, woman, and child of certain tribes? Because they had a gene pool problem. In the Hebrew, in the Old Testament, we find a similar term called the Rephaim, sometimes translated giants in your English, sometimes translated dead. You might appropriately call them, if you look at all the verses and put it together, the living dead, strange creatures. Why did God tell Joshua to wipe out every man, woman, and child of certain tribes? Because they had a gene pool problem. And the population of Canaan, we have the post-flood of Nephilim. That's mentioned in Genesis 6. It happened also after that, after the flood. And they're encountered in Canaan when Moses sent the 12 spies. They came back in Numbers 13:33. Says they're Nephilim in the land, these fallen ones. And we are like grasshoppers before them. We're pretty hard on those 10 guys. Remember that Og, the king of the giants, was 13 feet tall. Think about going up against a warrior like that. Serious problems. The Rephaim, these were a race of giants, except they're more than just giants. We encounter them in Genesis 14:15 and following. The Moabites called them the Emim. The Ammonites called them the Zamzumim. There's others. The same term is also translated dead. Isaiah tells us that they're not eligible for resurrection. Strange thing. We have Arba and Anak and his 7 sons, the Anakim. We have Og, the king of Bashan, in Deuteronomy 3, and so on. It's interesting that Joshua is told to wipe out every man, woman, and child of those tribes. He does almost. But the places that he fails to do so, in the Golan Heights, in Gaza, Ashdod, and so forth, it's the places that the PLO have their conclaves today. Strangely, strange stuff.